Chair and participant. I welcome you all in my presentation. My presentation is on role of resident Chure conservation in geohazard and disaster risk reduction in Chure Tarai Pradesh of Nepal. So this presentation is mainly focused to the Chure program. What is this program and what is this program is doing in that part and what is the achievement made so far. So this presentation is mainly focused to Chure and its program. So agenda of my presentation are as follows, and I will be brief on context and focus on President Chure Conservation Program, output and impact in geohazard reduction, learning and reform agenda for future course and conclusion. So I will try to complete my presentation within given time. So between India and China, this tiny country is landlocked country between China and India, and population is 30 million, about 30 million. So physiographically, you know that Nepal is Himalayan country from between 40 to 50 million years before, and has 5 regions, namely high mountain, high Himalaya, high mountain, middle mountain, Tarai, Shivalik and Tarai. I am focusing mainly in Tarai and interconnected, Shivalik and interconnected Tarai region. So this program is mainly focusing Shivalik and Tarai. We all know that Nepal is a Himalayan country and multi-hazard prone country because there are some regions. 20th most disaster prone country in the world. So this is very highly prone country and due to fragile geology and steep topography. And ranked fourth vulnerability to climate change. So it is also very vulnerable in impact of climate change, and 11th in earthquake and 30th in flood hazard among 200 countries. So Nepal is very vulnerable country. So the reason, there are anthropogenic reasons, lack of land use planning and integrated upstream management. So because country is very, very mountainous and number of rivers flow from north to south, and land use system is not that much appropriate, therefore that increase the vulnerability because it is itself vulnerable, naturally vulnerable, and this anthropogenic causes increase the vulnerability mainly for landslide and flood. So if we look at the disaster time, although epidemic and earthquake are in forefront, but yearly disaster, landslide and floods, they are very yearly disaster and impact is so huge. I don't like to read every statistic there, this is in the slide. So Nepal is very, it shows that Nepal is very vulnerable in landslide and flood. So Chure, the youngest mountain, within the Himalaya, Chure is the youngest mountain. So it is in the southern part of the Himalaya, formed 15 to 1 million years ago, extended in 2,400 kilometers from Brahmaputra of India in the east and Indus River in the west. Located between main frontal thrust in south and main boundary thrust in the north. So if we look at the tectonostratigraphic of the Shivalik, so it is in the between main frontal thrust in the south and main boundary thrust in the north. The figure clearly shows about this. So how is Chure Shivalik in Nepal? It comprises 14.78 land extended 8 kilometers east to west. So it is along east to west of Nepal, provided environmental services. This is very important. Chure provides environmental services to the 60% people live in Shivalik, Pavan, Tarai and Madhesh. So this is very important. So Shivalik mountain is very important in Nepal and its sustainable development. So besides, the area is important for food security. So this is our food production area. So this is very important for food production. So besides, unique place to study evolution of mountain belt, plate tectonics, climate change and geohazard. So this is the place for research about the climate change and geohazard. So how this mountain is interconnected with Pavan, Tarai and Madhesh, which are very very vulnerable to disaster and geo-hazard, mainly landslide and flood. So if we see the Shivalik formed by fluvial sedimentary rocks, very unconsolidated topography and very poor capacity to percolate high intensity rainfall caused due to landslide, mudslide, erosion, rockfall and many other disasters. So it has very low capacity, it is very slow, unconsolidated and low capacity to percolate the rainfall, and that caused several disasters. So Bhabar zone, the southern part of Shivalik Hill, unconsolidated, boulder gravel dominated, we know that, and over deposition and widening of channel width. So this is very sensitive area in the south of Shivalik. Tarai Pradesh region, the southern floodplain, deposit area, flooding, river meandering and bank erosion. So every physiographic region south to the Shivalik is very sensitive, is very vulnerable to disaster. So therefore this is very important to understand the context. So if we see the causes of degradation, I already mentioned that because this is very young mountain and very fragile, therefore this is naturally sensitive. Naturally sensitive area, very dynamic fault. It has a lot of dynamic fault, very dynamic topography. So high impact of climate change. I already mentioned that Himalaya itself is very highly sensitive to climate change. This area is more vulnerable in climate change, impact of climate. So there are a number of other regions, anthropogenic causes are important to understand that settlement in Shivalik Hill, because the area is so vulnerable and people are living in that mountain, that increase the vulnerability of the area, and over extraction, over exploitation of natural resources is another reason due to human being, inappropriate agriculture system. So there is a lot of agriculture system in the steep slope of mountain, Shivalik mountain, that again increase the vulnerability of Shivalik rain. And open grazing of domestic cattle is very usual, and forest fire every year, unmanaged extraction of riverbed material, and environmental unfriendly development infrastructure. We listen many things within Chure, many road construction, unsustainable road construction are there, so that again increase the vulnerability and sensitivity of the region. So what is the impact of degradation then? Obviously the land in Chure, land and soil erosion, in Bhabar and Tarai Pradesh, flood, river bank cutting, sedimentation raising, eventually desertification. I don't like to read every point mentioning there. The issue is that Tarai region could be the desertification. It is moving towards the desertification because of sedimentation and flood and soil erosion. That is the situation, and very sensitive, very sensitive area. I mean, because the flood that devastates the agricultural land, and that again, devastate the agricultural land and agriculture itself. That is what I mean. So in this context, so what is the initiative of Chure Tarai conservation? That is the key question that I would like to present in my next slide. So in this context, conservation of Chure Tarai Pradesh is very important, and government has initiated Chure Tarai Pradesh conservation since early 70s, when the fourth plan was formulated. It is mentioned in that plan, and we implemented many watershed management initiatives in program and project level from the government and from the development supporters. So initiative begins from early 70s and then it continues, and then but the scale of intensity, issue of intensity is too big, and those small size program could not manage to conserve Shivalik, Tarai and Pradesh. Then government thought to implement big different program. Different institutions are there. Different institutions were implementing different program in that